All right, so a band, some dumbbells, and then a mat for the end. And I guess we'll go ahead and get started with warm up. All righty. So 30 jumping jacks whenever you guys are ready. All right, 30. Standing up nice and tall, we'll go into our stretches, looking over your right shoulder. And back through center, looking over your left shoulder. Back to center, tilt the right ear down towards the right shoulder. And opposite side, left ear to left shoulder. Back through center, we're gonna do some head rolls, so drop the chin to the chest, down and around to the right. Let's do 3 each direction. Taking your time. And then reverse. Your 3 and your 3, coming back to center. We'll start working down to our shoulders, shoulder rolls, up, around, and forward to start. Doing a couple, and then start adding in those elbows. And then big arm circles up, around, and forward. Two more. And then let's reverse, starting with the shoulders, up, around, and back, dropping them down away from the ears, add the elbows. And then big arm circles up, around, and back. Two more. And then out and in, alternating the arm on top. Swinging open the chest and shoulders. Two more. All right, shake it on out. Let's move down to our hips, feet underneath your hips, knees unlocked, hands can come to your hip bones, sending your tailbone back, bending forward, standing up tall, stretching the backs of the legs. Two more. And then coming back up to standing. Let's take our feet wide now, heels toes out to the side, working on our hips, tilting the right hip out to the side, stretching the left inner thigh. Take a breath. And back through center, opposite side, left hip, up and out to the side. And back to center. Walk those feet in just a couple inches. You can do your hip circles. Just go to the left, front, right, and back. 3 around each direction. Full circle. And then reverse. And once you get your 3 and your 3, come back through center. Walk those feet back in right underneath your hips. Knees unlocked, hands to the kneecaps. Let's do our knee circles. Drop it down around to the right. Just loosening up the knees and ankles. Heels stay on the ground. And then reverse that direction to the left. One more. Slowly rolling on up. We're going to turn to the side, do our calf and hip stretch. So a little bit of a shallow lunge, back heel stays on the ground here. Rotate those hips forward, and let's bend and extend the front leg. Feeling that stretch in the back calf. You can feel it in the back hip flexor too if you're pushing that hip down. Breathing. Let's do one more this side. And then carefully switching around, opposite side, same thing, get that split stance, lunge stance, back leg straight, heel on the ground. Once you get there and you're balanced, start to bend and extend that front leg. Let's do two more. And then coming back to center, shake out those legs a little bit. We're just gonna add those ankles on. So point and flex with the right foot first. And then some circles around to the right. And then circles to the left. Shake that foot out, switch sides, point and flex with the left. And then circles. And reverse. And shake the legs out. Take a moment here. If you need to grab a quick sip of water, or make sure your water is nearby. Go ahead and do so. We're starting out our first superset tonight is all with dumbbells. You just need your pair of dumbbells. We're going to start off with dumbbell deadlifts. Nothing fancy, just our regular deadlifts tonight. 2 dumbbell deadlifts with our knees unlocked. So finding that hinge position. So feet are right underneath your hips, knees unlocked, weights come to the front of your legs. Remember, you want to think about your upper back position too with your deadlift. So good posture, roll those shoulders back. Inhale, you're going to reach those hips back. Arms come straight down your legs as far as you can go, keeping a flat back. Exhale, you stand up, you squeeze everything together. We're going to do these for 12. So just think about that back position, straight back from your tailbone to the tip of your head. Keep your chest lifted, eyes should be forward. Like you're loading a rubber band. You're pulling a rubber band and then you're snapping it, you're standing up. Feeling everything in the back side. Weights are nice and close. 12 total. Once you reach your 12, you can come back up to standing. You're going to keep your weight for our part 2, our second exercise. So we're going to do Arnold presses tonight. So Arnold presses is just a variation of overhead press. So you're going to start with the weight face back towards you. So palms are face back towards your body. As you press overhead, your wrists rotate outwards. Okay, so this is the starting position. You rotate, this is the ending position. You rotate on the way up and then you rotate again. They start rotating in to come down. So you end with the palms facing, or you start, I'm sorry, with the palms facing you. You end on top with the palms facing away. So just adding a little bit of rotation. So rotate up, rotate down, rotate up, and rotate down. So we're going to do these for 12, same thing. So starting with those weights, face towards you, knees are unlocked, back is flat. You're going to rotate it, press up, and rotate, come down. Rotate, press up, and rotate down. For 12. Trying not to arch your back. So keep those knees unlocked, keep that core strong. Shoulders away from your ears. Once you reach 12, you can set those weights down, come to standing, shake out those arms a bit. With the Arnold press, because you're twisting a little bit with your arms, you might feel like, especially as it gets heavy, that you want to kind of do a little bit of a back roll movement to help get those weights overhead. If you're starting to feel like that and you feel like you can't control it, one way to help is to do this seated. So if you're ever struggling with overhead and you feel like you're starting to like do a little bit of this, just grab a chair and just sit, because it's going to eliminate your ability to kind of sway your back. You're going to have to just use your shoulders. So as we're doing them, if you're struggling with moving around with your back, just grab a chair and do it seated. You'll still get the same benefit with the shoulders. But if you do it standing, it also helps a little bit with your core, because you have to hold that core strong to make sure that you're not swaying and bending and doing all of those things. Okay, so we're gonna start back again with those deadlifts to make sure those feet are pointed forward. They're right underneath your hips. Your knees are unlocked. Your weights are right against your body, and your upper back is in a good posture position. Eyes are forward. Inhale, reach down. Exhale, stand flat back for 12. Round 2. Check those weights. Make sure they're still staying close by the body the whole time. Once you reach your 12, just reposition yourself. You can even go a little wider with your feet if you need to help your kind of keep you in the same spot, keep that base nice and strong. Hands face back towards you, knees are unlocked, core is tight. You're rotating, pressing overhead. You're rotating, you're coming down. Arnold press, trying to kind of keep this going vertically the whole time. So dumbbells should be pretty close to each other at the top. Remember, we're going for 12. Watch that back position. And then carefully set those weights down to the side. You can shake out those arms. We'll take a quick breather here before we get into our last round. All right, shake it on out. Should be feeling nice and warm now. Muscles are really starting to be warm. Okay, last time through with these deadlifts. So grab those weights. Let's find correct body position. Feet underneath your hips, heels toes forward. Knees are unlocked the whole time. Weights against your legs. Roll those shoulders down and back. Hold that core tight. Reaching down, standing up, squeeze. Reaching and then squeezing. Last set of 12. All right, once you reach your 12 with your deadlift, like I mentioned, you can take those feet a little wider if you want a stronger base. Knees unlocked. Remember, you can always sit if you need to. If you can't control your back, hands start facing back towards you. Inhale, exhale, press. Inhale, coming down. Last time through for 12. And once you reach your 12 with those, you can carefully set your weights off to the side now. Shake out those shoulders a little bit, relax. And now's the time if you need to grab your band. You're gonna need your band for our next exercises, for both of them actually. I'm gonna use the one with handles today, but of course use what you have at home. So our first exercise, we're going to do a banded single arm row. We've done single arm row plenty of times, but we don't always do it with the band. So depending on your band, if you have one like mine, like this length with the handle, the best way to do it is to actually still hold it with both hands, but you're going to step on the band with the hand that's not going to be doing the exercise. Okay, so I'm going to start with my right arm doing the row. So I'm going to stand on the band with my left foot, and then I'm going to find single arm bent over row position. So normally we're here. You know, we do this a lot with the dumbbell. We're just doing it with the band. So what you might have to do is just switch, like kind of figure out where the sweet spot is of where you want to stand on your band. Because with the band, the closer or the shorter the cord between your working hand and your foot, the harder it's going to be. Obviously, the more slack you give yourself, the easier it's going to be. So you want to make sure that it's challenging enough. You don't have to hold on to the band with the other hand. I just say if it's long enough to do this so that you don't trip on it. If it's on the floor, that foot behind you, you might like trip on it. If you've got a short band, just throw the end on the floor. Just make sure you're not stepping on it. It's not in your way. But otherwise, I'm just holding this here so that it's out of my way. So I've got my hand on the right handle, my left foot's on the band, my right foot's behind me. I'm finding bent over row position. From here, I'm driving my elbow back, squeeze my shoulder blade together, and it looks just like a bent over row. So after I do one or two, you might want to evaluate, does that feel challenging enough? If it's too challenging, move that foot over a little bit. If it's not challenging enough, then create a little bit more tightness. You're going to have to just adjust a little bit here. But once you get the right position, we're going to go for 12. Squeezing that shoulder blade together every time. And then once you get 12 on one side, it's the same thing. You're gonna do 12 on the other. Try to make it even. Try to kind of take note of how much slack you gave on one side and try to make it the same when you switch over to your left side. Now my right foot's on the band, my left foot is back. My left hand has the handle that I'm pulling with. $12 total. Once you get 12, you can come off that band for just a moment here. The reason I like sometimes doing things with bands as opposed to the weights is you kind of have to resist on the way back too. So with a dumbbell, you kind of just have gravity that just kind of naturally pulls that arm down. With the band, you kind of have to control it so that your arm doesn't just like get pulled forward. So you do your row, but then you're also getting like a nice eccentric motion too. So it's nice every once in a while to do the same motion, just do it with a different piece of equipment and you'll feel it a little bit different. Okay, exercise number 2, we're going to do banded squats tonight. It's kind of the same thing. We do a lot of dumbbell squats. We're just going to do band squats tonight. You're standing on the band with 2 feet. Make sure it's stable under the middle of your feet. Feet are a little wider than your hip width distance. Toes can be out to the side. You can hold down right here. It's going to get loose as you squat and you're going to feel tension as you stand. If that's not enough, you can reach down further and just grab onto the band, maybe like mid shin, and then you'll feel that tension a little bit more as you do your squats. If that still doesn't feel enough, what I would do is take your handles and you're going to come up elbows into your rib cage and then hands come close together. So it's kind of like you're almost like you were holding a goblet squat, like a weight in the middle of your chest. Everything's nice and close, but your band handles are up at that height. Okay, so all are perfectly acceptable. Just find the right tension that feels right with the band that you have and where your level's at. So from here, we're going to squat down, knees go out, hips go down, and we come back to standing. These are also going to be for 12. So once you get in that right position, let's get 12 done. Once you get 12 of the squats, just carefully come off your band altogether. Relax everything down. take a moment here. Take advantage of the fact that I'm holding this band to do a little bit of stretches. We'll take a breather. We're going to do the same thing. We'll do 3 sets through. A lot of the exercises, like on Fit on Monday when we do halos with a towel, you can do the same thing with a band as well. So a lot of these like arm stretches, it kind of works like a yoga strap to your legs, where it's helping kind of assist pull you in that stretch. Sometimes your band can do the same thing, especially if it's tough enough. Alrighty, second time through, so we're going to start with those bent over rows. So starting off standing on it with the left foot, right foot comes behind into our split stance. Your right hand has the handle that you're going to be pulling against, so make sure you get the tension that you want. Make sure that back is flat, and then we're driving the elbow back, squeezing the shoulder blades together, 12 each side. Don't round your shoulders. And then remember, when you switch sides, you want to try to kind of create that same amount of tension that you did on that first side. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you should be able to kind of feel it, what feels the right amount of tension. 12 on the second side. Total. Take a moment, come off the band with just that one foot, and then give yourself a second to kind of get set up for the squat, just because the feet are in a different position. So get both feet on the band, right in the middle. Take your heels, hip width distance, heels, and then toes pointed out to the side, and then either holding down below, based on how you felt last time. If you want to stay there, if you want to bring your hands up to your chest, whatever feels right for you. Just make sure that everything stays close to the body, so you're not putting too much tension on your upper body. And when you're ready, you can go for your second set of 12. Total. And then you can release that band, set it down for a moment, take a quick breather here. Before we go into our last round. Alrighty, last time through, single arm bent over rows with our band. So starting standing on with the left foot, right foot's behind you, right hand got the handle you'll be pulling. Find that right amount of tension. Check your back position, check your shoulder position, make sure those are in the right spot, and then drive that elbow back. Squeeze your shoulder blade together for 12. On the right, and then same thing, just get yourself situated. Right foot on the band, left foot back, left handle holding that, or sorry, left hand holding the handle, and then driving the elbow back. Total. And then once you're done with your bent over rows, taking a moment, get yourself in the right position for these squats. Heels are at least your hip width distance, toes pointed out to the side, hands are down or they're up. whatever creates the right amount of tension for you. Once you're in the right spot, you can start for your last set of 12 squats. Twelve total. Once you reach your 12, coming off that band, setting it off to the side for now. Taking a quick breather here. All right, guys, so we're moving it on. In this next set, you're gonna need your dumbbells for your first exercise, and then you will need your band for your second exercise, so don't put it too far away. If you have different size bands, you'd probably wanna use the lighter band for this second exercise. Once we get to it, I'll explain that though. So we're starting off, we're gonna do dumbbell reverse lunges for exercise number 1. So reverse, remember that means we're stepping behind. So 2 weights, they're gonna be on either side of your leg. The weights are optional. If you're struggling with your lunges, just do it body weight. You can even do it standing with a wall or chair if you need to for balance. Big, wide step back. Remember with the reverse lunge, you're just stepping back to the ball of your toe. Don't put your heel down. You'll waste energy to put your heel down. So back to the ball of your toe. And then as soon as the ball of the toe hits, you sink straight down. Press off that back ball of the toe back to center. So all together, step back, bend, come back, feet together. So we're gonna do 10 each side, all 10 on our right, and then we'll switch. We'll do all 10 on our left. Like I said, if you're struggling with balance, if you're struggling with balance, but you still want to add a weight, you can always just put a weight on the outside leg, the leg that's going to be stepping backwards, and then balance on the opposite side. So you could be holding on to something in this way, or you could just do it body weight. Your decision, whatever feels right for you. Your balance is pretty good today, and go for the weights on either side. So starting up nice and tall, give yourself space behind you. We're stepping back with the right foot first. Ball of that toe, press off, come back, feet together. 10 on our right side first. I have a very cracky right ankle. Every time my first set of lunges, whenever I'm stepping with my right, it's always like crack, crack, crack the whole time. So cracking is fine, as long as it's not painful. Make sure you're switching over, getting 10 on that left side too. Chest up. On either side. If that front heel is ever coming up on your reverse lunges, you're not stepping back far enough. Just a quick tip. So if you're feeling like that heel keeps popping up in the front, step farther back. All right. Exercise number 2. So this is where you need the band. Like I said, if you have a lighter band, you might want to grab it. This one's just a little bit of a smaller muscle group. If this is too hard to do, standing the way I'm going to be showing you, just do it seated, and you'll naturally make it easier because you're not going to stretch your band so far. Okay, so we're going to do an external rotation, a 90-degree external rotation. So you're going to stand on the band with one foot. Hands are going to come up to like a scarecrow-looking position. Your elbows should be they should be kind of right below your shoulder height. Okay, so you're not quite like at shoulder height. You're just below shoulder height. And then you're going to take your wrists and you're going to bring them out. So this is your 90 degrees. So from your shoulder, if you look out from your elbow to your wrist, you're kind of at a 90-degree angle. From here, you're going to rotate up, make a goalpost, and then you're going to rotate back down. So the elbow, you're trying to keep that elbow kind of in that position. You're just pivoting right at that shoulder joint. This is really great for anybody that has previous shoulder injuries. But if you're limited mobility, all I want you to do is take it from a 90 degree to a 45 degree and do this. Okay, so if you can't hit 90, that's impossible, just drop it down to 45. and just do it there. But if you can do the 90, come with me. So elbows are out from our shoulders, hands are pointed out, and then we rotate up, goalpost, we rotate down. We rotate up, goalpost, and down. You're doing this for 12. Breathe. And then once you get your 12, arms come down. You should really feel that start to burn in your shoulders and in your rotator cuff behind your shoulders. While you guys are finishing up and resting, I'm just going to show you real quick. So say you only had one band and it's just way too difficult. Because if I tried this with my red band, I don't think I could do that. That'd be too tough. You can sit, and you can either sit with one foot on your band and do it here, or with 2 feet. More than likely, you can probably do it seated because it's just not stretching that band as much. So that's just an easy modification. If for pretty much most upper body movements with bands, that's the way to make it easier, is to sit. Doesn't necessarily work as well when we're doing lower body exercise. Usually that involves your legs doing something other than sitting. All right, hopefully you're catching your breath. We are going to go back to those lunges in just a second here. So based on how you felt first time, if you used weights and that felt good, use them again. If you didn't and they were challenging, or if your foot position, you're working on like your foot position or your balance, it's okay to drop the weight. So what I was mentioning at the end is when you step back, if you don't step far enough, it's going to be really hard. The front heel is going to want to pop up, okay? So if that's happening, it's probably you're just taking a really like short step. See if you can step back maybe just a couple inches more, and that should fix that problem. All right, so we're going for 10 each side whenever you're ready, starting nice and tall, stepping back, right foot, pressing off, coming back, feet together. Once you finish 10 on one side, just try to get right into 10 on your second side. Ten and 10. If you're using your weights, set them down. You can go ahead and grab your band. If you need to grab a chair, grab a chair. Whatever you need to for the external rotation movement. So one foot on that band, bring those shoulders right out from, bring the elbows out from your shoulders, and then get those hands, those wrists, so that you're at a 90-degree angle. Once you get to that position, you're rotating up and rotating down, rotating up, rotating down. This is another one we're doing for 12. Whew. Even with the light band, those should be burning by the end. Kind of working small muscle groups in your shoulder. Anybody who's ever been to PT for your shoulder, you've done some variation of that exercise at some point in your life. It's all about internal and external rotation with the shoulder girdle. And that's generally where tears happen, is in your rotator cuff, which limits how much you can bring your arms up, out to the side. That's why they have you do all of those exercises. It's just strengthening that as much as you can. So it's good to do preventatively, but it's also good to do if you've had shoulder injury, to try to keep it from tearing again or having any further problems. A lot of people do that stuff in therapy and then they just never do it again after they get out of therapy, but it's important to keep doing it. All right, guys, last time through with these reverse lunges, last chance to add on weight or do what you need to do. 10 each side whenever you're ready. And stepping back right, 10, stepping back with your left. Take your time, find your balance. Ten each side. Once you get your 10 each side, go ahead, grab onto that band. Last time through, external rotation. One foot on that middle of that band. Elbows to the shoulder height or right below shoulder height. Bring those wrists out 90 degrees. Inhale, exhale, rotate, and come down. Rotate and down. Last set of 12. Total. Once you get your 12, you can set your bands off to the side, put them away. All righty, take a moment to breathe here. We're going into our last superset. We're gonna come down to the mat. So if you need to lay out your mat, go ahead and do that. You don't need any weights, actually. You don't need weights or bands for either one of these exercises. So when you're ready, let's just make our way down to the mat. And I'll explain what we're doing. The first exercise we're gonna do is a lying hip abduction. So we're gonna do this on both your right and your left side. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna come over first to your right side. So you're gonna be lying on your side. You're gonna extend your legs out straight and you're gonna stack your feet on top of each other, okay? So everything really should be stacked in your lower body. Your ankles over ankles, your knees over knees, your hips over hips. And then with your upper body, you can take your elbow and put it right below your shoulder and hand can just come out straight. So that's just to support you. Your free hand on top, that can kind of come down to the mat if that helps you to kind of stay in this position. This is a very mermaid type of position. From here, we're gonna be lifting our top leg. So you're gonna flex both of your feet. So pull your toes up towards your shins. You're gonna lift that upper leg as high as you can until you start to feel that up in the side of your glute in your hip. And then you're gonna lower down, okay? So what you wanna try to avoid is rotating. What your foot's gonna wanna do is like rotate so that the toe is pointed up towards the ceiling. You wanna try to avoid that. If anything, think more like point your toe down towards the ground than up towards the ceiling. That's gonna help you to feel it more in the side of your hip. If you rotate up, you're probably gonna be able to get pretty far. This looks like an 80s workout thing. You'll probably be able to get your leg higher, but you're not gonna feel it in your hip, okay? So that's the key, is we wanna feel it in the side of this hip. So rotate that toe downward slightly, lift with a straight leg, just to feel that squeeze in the side of your hip and your glute, and then you're gonna lower down. You're gonna lift, squeeze, and then you're gonna slowly lower down. We're gonna do 10 on one side, and then we're gonna switch. Keeping that foot flexed. Doing that burn, the side of the hip. Once you reach 10 for you guys, you can just roll on over if you want. I'm just gonna switch around so you can see me on the other side. You're just gonna get into that same position. Now with the left leg stacked over the right, everything stacked. You can have your elbow on the floor, hand on the floor, flex those feet, lift, squeeze, lower down, pointing that toe down towards the mat as much as you can. And breathe. Once you reach your 10 and 10, just relax those legs. You can kind of come, we're gonna be coming to our back position. So if you want to kind of roll over onto your butt, you can. That hip abduction too, if you have one of those loop bands, that's a good one to do if you want added resistance. So if you want to feel that even more, you can put a loop band around your shins, around your ankles, and lift, pulling that band apart. You'll feel that a whole lot more. Okay, second movement, second bodyweight movement. We're gonna come lying on the mat, flat on the mat. So our back on the floor. We're starting we'll just have your knees bent, feet on the floor. From here, I want you to bring your hands out to the side, okay? Because they're gonna help you to balance. We're gonna do something called a windshield wiper, okay? So this is similar to like if you were gonna do a low back stretch, but we're gonna take it from a stretch and we're gonna make it a strength exercise, okay? So from here, you're gonna lift your feet off the floor. You're gonna come to a 90-degree angle from your hips to your knees, out to your ankles. Arms are out either side. From here, you're gonna let them fall down towards one side, but don't let them go all the way. If you let them go all the way, that's where we have that low back stretch. We're gonna go just until we feel like our shoulder blade's about to pop off the mat, and then we're gonna pull and we're gonna come back. This is gonna activate our core, okay? So don't let the knees just swap side to side. We're gonna pause right before we reach that floor and we're gonna pull back. So drive your shoulder blades into the mat, knees drop just so you feel as far as you can go without letting them touch, and then pull back to center. And then go back to that first side. We're gonna be doing 10 each side. So just going at your own pace, kind of feeling out how far down you feel you can go before you feel like your shoulder blade's gonna pop off the mat, and then pulling, coming back up to center using that core. And if you can't control it, just don't go down quite as far. Go as far as you can with control. Ten each side. You can either count 10 and 10, or you can count to 20, whatever makes sense for you. Once you get 10 and 10, let those legs fall back down to the floor, the feet fall to the mat. You can extend them out if you need to do like just a whole body stretch. Shake it all out before we repeat. So we're gonna be flipping it. Well, I'm gonna flip around, you guys. You can just all stay in one position to keep rolling around if you want. But we're gonna come back to laying on our right side, stacking everything. So look at your feet, make sure they're stacked, ankles, knees, hips. Then your elbow is going to be below your shoulder. Other hands helping to support you on the ground. Flex your feet back. And then we're lifting that left foot up so we feel that squeeze in our hip, and we're lowering down. Second set of 10. Once you get 10 on one side, you can just flip on over. Same thing, get yourself stacked, get yourself in the right position. And then 10 on your second side. Remember, point that toe down towards the mat so you're really feeling it in the hip. 10 and 10 each side. Once you get your 10 and your 10, go ahead, flip around on your back, lying flat, get yourself in that right position. Arms come out to the side to help you balance. Shoulder blades are on the mat. Bring those feet up to 90 degrees, and then slowly you're gonna tilt to one side, pulling up to center. Tilt to the opposite side, pulling up to center, making sure both shoulder blades stay on the mat the whole time. And each side, controlling. Make that movement as small as you need to until you can do it with control. Once you hit 10 each side, relax those legs down. Take a nice full body stretch. And when you're ready, we'll flip back around. We're gonna go through this one more time, each side, each exercise. Coming back to that right side when you're ready, stacking your feet, stacking your knees, your hips, shoulder under, or elbow underneath your shoulder, flexing your feet, pointing that toe down, lift and squeeze. Last time through. And on one side, and then just flip it around. Get everything stacked, flex those feet, point that toe down, 10 on our second side. Once you get 10 of your hip abductions either side, we're gonna flip it around on our back, lay it flat, arms out to the side. We're gonna do last time windshield wipers. Lift those feet off the mat, keep those knees together, ankles together, leaning to one side, pulling to center. Leaning to the other side, pulling to center, using that core, not letting those knees fall all the way down. Shoulder blades on the mat. And each side with control. Once you get that 10 each side, if you want to do one more full body stretch before we peel ourselves off the mat, go ahead and do so. Take a big inhale, nice big exhale. Then when you're ready, you can start to come off the mat. Make our way back up. We will do seated stretching. Take your time. If you need to grab a sip of water, go ahead and do so. Alrighty, when you guys are ready, we'll all find nice tall seated position, extending our right leg out, heel down, toe up, leaning forward, flat back. And then coming in, switching legs, spinning left leg out, heel down, toe up, leaning forward. And then coming back up to center, let's take our right leg now over our left, either crossing ankles or crossing your ankle above your knee, wherever you're at, that hip drop. And if you want to add that spinal twist on, hand to the outside of the knee, reaching around your chair, looking over your right shoulder. And then coming back to center. Before we take the leg off, let's just do a little bit of a forward fold, forward bend, just to get a nice deeper stretch there in that hip. And then we can come back up to center. Relax that leg down, we'll just switch sides. So getting that left foot up, you cross on your ankle or cross above your knee. It's like gravity, take that hip down first. Inhale, exhale. And then opposite hand to the knee, let's reach around, looking over the left shoulder. And back to center. Let's do the same thing, just small forward fold, forward bend. So that deep stretch in that hip before we release it. And then coming back up to center, relax that leg down. You can shake those legs out a little bit if you need to. And then let's take our right arm, cross it across our body, hug it in nice and close. And then switching sides, left arm across the body. And then taking two hands behind the back, drop the shoulders down. Pull those hands away. And tilt the right ear to the right shoulder, left ear to left shoulder. Drop the chin to the chest, nod or shake that head no. And then release those hands, bring them forward. Now we can round the back, push the arms forward. And then two arms overhead, reaching up nice and tall, inhale. And reaching over the right side. Back through center, let's reach over the left side. One more time, inhale, center. And exhale everything out and down. Nice work, everybody. Have a great night. Thanks for coming.